Today, let's talk about something that affects everyone and something that really affects your mood, your weight, and your sleep. Is it hormones? Yes, but it's specifically, we want to talk about today, blood sugar and how it affects hormones. Okay? People don't talk about or don't understand how stressful it is to the body and actually the mind too when blood sugar goes up high or goes down low. We just think of it as, oh, do I have diabetes or not? Or do I have blood sugar imbalances? Or am I pre-diabetic? But there's so much more. Even nuances in blood sugar changes can actually cause problems for the body. And it keeps you to be able to feeling and looking your best. We don't want that, especially in the new year when we're trying to lose weight. So let's get into it today. I think we understand that if someone held their hand over your mouth and you couldn't breathe, you would die like in a very short time, right? If you weren't given water for, I don't know how many days, but you would die, okay? But there's something in between there, blood sugar, that if the blood sugar goes off, it super stresses the body, similar to not having enough water or hydration and not having enough oxygen. It just takes a little longer. You're not going to die if your blood sugar's off a little bit within a couple minutes like you would if you couldn't breathe. But blood sugar is super important. So if you balanced, we go over all of that. And as a natural hormone balancing specialist, I want to touch on it a little bit more today to help you understand that you can integrate it into what you're doing to try to lose weight and increase your ability to sleep better and your mood and your energy. Okay, so let's get into it. Now I'm going to pause here. I'm going to bring up this chart. I'm going to go through it, but I'm going to actually have you insert the chart while I'm talking instead of me holding it. If you can't do it, I'll try to hold it in a way that it still picks up. It's just a little bit harder because you'll see me looking at it and stuff like that. Okay, so I'll pause and then we'll start again. Okay, so I have a chart here and it'd be balanced. We always like to use charts because it really helps people understand when there's visuals, especially if you're a visual learner. Okay, so what do we have? Stress here. Who's not under stress, right? Tons of stress, mental, emotional, physical. People don't even understand that exercising is good for you, but it's also a stress on the body. Blue light from your computer is a stress. So it's not just your kids, your finances, your spouse, all those things. There's other stresses that affect you every day, even issues with self-esteem, past trauma, etc. So we're all under stress. Stress raises the hormone cortisol, which you all heard of because cortisol is related to belly fat. But cortisol is not that bad. We really need cortisol to buffer us from stress. We just don't want it up high all the time, okay? So when cortisol goes up, the body thinks you need to run away from a lion or bear. Does that happen too often? Not that I know of in a modern society, but we're working on our prehistoric, reactions, our prehistoric brain. We still think, the body still thinks, stress, I'm scared, we need to run. Fight, flight, or freeze, right? But that's not necessarily happening. But anyway, blood sugar goes up because we have to have that energy to be able to run away or fight. So what happens is when blood sugar is too high, that can cause a lot of problems because really high can cause things like comas and, fainting and all that. But at a lower level, it can cause irritability or it can cause restless leg syndrome or just feeling like rammy. I call it when I feel rammy if my blood sugar goes up. I don't have technically restless leg syndrome. So if blood sugar goes high, that's not good. But then what happens is right after that, insulin comes rushing in, okay? So insulin comes rushing in, and it's to get the sugar into the cell. So that comes into the bloodstream, okay, from the pancreas, and that gets the sugar into the cell so that you can run or fight or whatever you're supposed to do. But after that happens, you can have a drop in blood sugar, and when blood sugar drops too low, especially if you ate like candy or you had a soda or something like that, and it goes up and then goes down, you actually have cravings, hunger, anxiety, irritability. So we don't want crashes in blood sugar. People don't realize that when you have a crash in blood sugar, it can actually cause people to have like a panic attack, or if they're epileptic or have any type of fits, like those types of things, that could bring that on. I even believe for Parkinson's starting to shake a lot, it could be connected to that as well. So this is no fun. We don't want it high, but we don't want it low. So blood sugar roller coaster, which is when it's going up and down because we don't have it under control. And it can cause cravings, hunger, irritability, moodiness, hot flashes, and night sweats is a big one for menopausal women when blood sugar drops. And then, of course, weight gain or the inability to lose weight and interrupted sleep. Because when you wake up in the middle of the night when your blood sugar drops, cortisol goes up. And if you're a woman of a certain age, you will have a hot flash or a night sweat on top of the fact that you just woke up. So blood sugar is extremely important. I'm going to pause here, put this down. I'm going to peek at my notes a minute here. Okay, restart. So you can see that blood sugar affects so many areas of our lives. But what if I told you your blood sugar is affected by your hormones, right? Obviously that cortisol, that insulin. But what if I said then your sex hormones are affected by it, but also your sex hormones can then affect blood sugar as well? Because when you think about it, a young girl right before her period, right, somebody that's premenopausal right before her period, has really off blood sugar. Why? Because at that point, she's very dominant in estrogen and low in progesterone. A woman around menopause can continuously be in a PMS state because she's dominant in estrogen and progesterone is deficient. Most women are like this all the time. There's a slight hormonal imbalance called estrogen dominance. And here's what happens. I'll explain it, but then I want to tell you what each of these mean, right? Progesterone is soothing and calming. It stabilizes blood sugar. That's why it's so important to have progesterone levels stabilized and have enough progesterone. Well, why on earth is everybody deficient in progesterone in a modern world? Well, I'll tell you. It's because high levels of cortisol drain progesterone. Because when the body needs, cortisol to survive, to fight the lions and the bears of life, right? It needs a backup and it can't keep up with the amount of demand. So it takes progesterone, converts it to cortisol. You can Google that. That's a scientific fact. Progesterone is a backup for cortisol. The body doesn't care if you have a good period. The body doesn't care if you can get pregnant in a time of stress, right? If you're running away from lions and bears, should you be getting pregnant? So that pregnancy hormone goes down. The problem is it also leaves you gaining weight, feeling terrible, all those types of things, okay? Estrogen, the opposite. Estrogen's not totally bad. It does a lot of things, but it's excitatory, okay? It makes our breasts grow. It makes us pop an egg. It's used for so many things in the body, but when estrogen is out of balance with progesterone, it does the opposite. It causes our blood sugar to go all over the place. We get hungry. We gain weight. We have anxiety. You can overbuild tissue, endometriosis, fibroids, even female-related cancers. So most women are estrogen dominant and progesterone deficient. That's why there's so much PMS, and that's why there's peri and postmenopausal symptoms. Okay? So that's important to know. But how it relates to blood sugar is this. You're going to think this is so cool. When estrogen is dominant, okay, there's more estrogen running around your body than there is progesterone calming you. More stimulation than calming. The extra estrogen can go over there and stimulate your pancreas to produce insulin, even if you didn't eat anything, okay? What's going to happen is the insulin comes out, brings the blood sugar down really low. You're going to feel terrible. You're going to probably want to eat something to get it back up again. Or even if you don't eat anything, you say, you know what, I'm going to be good. What happens is when the blood sugar goes too low, cortisol goes up because it's a stress. And then when cortisol goes up, the blood sugar roller coaster keeps going. So there's almost no way around this except to live like a perfect life and be a yogi, which is hard, or to balance your sex hormones. And that's what we're about at Be Balanced, okay? Lifestyle changes. Yes, do we want to eat a ton of caffeine? Do we want to drink a ton of caffeine? Do we want to drink a ton of alcohol? Do we want to eat a bunch of sugar and processed food? No, because that's obviously going to cause a blood sugar roller coaster. And I think most women know that, right? But what a lot of women don't know is that them and the average American woman are estrogen dominant, and they're in that imbalanced state of hormones and imbalanced state of blood sugar all the time. And that's not their fault. And that's because of stress and the imbalance in hormones. So at Be Balanced, we want to educate women on that. Blood sugar is so important for our health because the thing is, when blood sugar is off for too long, prediabetes, diabetes, and diabetes is comorbid with so many other diseases, heart disease, and so many other things. We don't want that. There's even connections with blood pressure. And, cancers are connected to sugars always being out in the bloodstream. So it's something that is super important for how we look, how we feel, and diseases, and even the aging process. So at Be Balanced, what do? We have a weight loss program that balances insulin and cortisol, right? We want to get them down. We want to get them balanced. And then that balances estrogen and progesterone. And we get results super fast, faster than the weight loss injections. Basically, 15 to 20 pounds of fat, not weight, because weight is structural fat, muscle, other things. We don't want to lose those. We want to lose blubbery fat, that extra fat on your stomach, your thighs, all of that. That's very related to insulin resistance, high cortisol. We are getting rid of that type of fat. And if someone says, well, I only have a little bit of weight to lose, or, me and my daughter, we just want to balance our hormones to not have symptoms, we have our natural hormone balancing creams. We can give you natural United States Pharmacopoeia, USP, progesterone, which basically is a standardized progesterone in one pump. And what that's going to do is take away symptoms almost immediately. By your next cycle, you'll notice a dramatic change. We have tons and tons of success stories. But we don't just give you this, because what happens if we give you this? You're still under stress, right? This gets depleted. Remember, we talked about high cortisol will deplete progesterone. So we have a 1-2 punch. This is rare. And we have a stress cream. And our stress cream gives you adaptogen herbs like maca, which are going to help calm and soothe the adrenal gland. We also give you pre-hormones that the body can use to make cortisol, so it doesn't have to steal the valuable progesterone. So these work hand in hand. So at Be Balanced, we take the guesswork out of weight loss, wellness, hormones balancing, and we want to be able to tell you additional things that can help you on your path. If you're on the weight loss shots and you're trying to get off them, if you're like, if the food noise is coming back, I don't know what to do, that's connected to hormones and also blood sugar and how you feel. So we want to be able to transition you or to be able to just enlighten you on this path of natural hormone balancing. So go to BeBalanceCenters.com, and all you got to do is you can book an appointment, virtual or in person. We have 27 centers. If you don't have one in your area, you'll be routed to the closest one. Go there. You'll get a free consultation. You'll get all your questions answered candidly. We sit down. It's a relaxed environment, a beautiful environment. And we just want to help you understand. And we guarantee, whether you work with us or not, you're going to learn something new. Again, we take the guesswork out. So BeBalanceCenters.com, or you can do a hormone assessment, which you can answer some questions and help you understand what is your hormone imbalance. So we want you to look and feel your best at any age in the new year, and we hope you'll come visit us at BeBalanceCenters.com so we can help balance your blood sugar so you can look and feel your best.